He is inevitable. Erling Haaland scores on his Premier League start for the season once again, as Manchester City go away to Stamford Bridge and pick up 3 points to start off their campaign. Chelsea under Enzo Maresca going into their first competitive fixture had some okay moments which we'll get into, but overall Pep Guardiola clearly has the better system and tactics. Enzo is going to take a little while to adapt to the Premier League level. So as expected in this game, Chelsea were going to go from 4 at the back into 3 at the back in possession and have this box midfield, whereas Manchester City just starting with wide players and a standard formation. So the way that Chelsea adjusted in this game is Cucurella dropped more to a left centre-back in possession. You had Colwill and Fofana, who fits this system really, really well. And Gusto would then push forward and help in midfield. And you'd see Lavia, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez forming this box shape. But Enzo did not look good as a number 10 today. Christopher Nkunku was forced onto the left-hand side, Cole Palmer as a right winger and Nicholas Jackson up front. I personally believe Nkunku should have either been playing in Enzo's role today or even Jackson's, because he was having to drop deep and try and get involved, and then he was just offside in the big moments as a striker, which you can't be in this kind of system. If the ball is going to break to you, you need to be running through on goal pretty much. So having the wide players here and then him failing up front, not an option to continue. Whereas Manchester City, we saw Doku start on the right-hand side with Savinho, one or the other, it doesn't really matter. On the left, they switched sides because Cucurella was having a great game up against Doku. And Savinho having a really, really good first half. He did end up having to get subbed off at half-time for Phil Foden. A hell of a sub to be able to make. But Rico Lewis in this sort of inverted defender role, fantastic game from him alongside Kovacic, who scored a beauty that we'll get into in a sec. We saw the first minutes of multiple Chelsea players in this game. Pedro Neto coming on for his first Chelsea Premier League appearance, as did Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, a Maresca disciple, played basically every single game under us last season and was pivotal to how we played. Came on, didn't really get to affect the game that much, but again, you're going into a squad, whole new group of players. It may be the same system, but not everyone understands it as well as you. We saw Mike Guy come on as well, and Renato Vega. As you can see from the match ratings here, I would thoroughly agree with these. Lavia had a fantastic game today. He was controlling stuff in the midfield, getting stuck in, but also starting off attacks, and Cucurella defending very, very well today. One of the big incidents in this game basically tells us that they are sticking to the rule change for handball this season. If you are deemed to be too close to it and can't get out of the way and your arm is in a natural position now, this isn't given as handball. In previous seasons, as ridiculous as the rule was, this would have been given against Kovacic, but not anymore. So Gusto clears the ball here. It clearly hits Kovacic's arm, but there's nothing he can do about it. Anyone that's played football knows that this is not handball. So I'm really, really glad that the rules have actually been adjusted and updated to reflect that. And a lovely bit of irony as throughout the Euros there was this weird Cucurella chant that seemed to exist about Haaland being scared of him whilst he eats paella and drinks Estrella. Cucurella was the one that was right next to him as Haaland managed to get the goal to kick things off about 20 minutes into this game. A lovely couple of touches from him in the box, broke away, holds him off with his strength and dinks it past Robert Sanchez, who didn't have the best game today, despite Enzo Maresca saying that he feels like he is the one this season for Chelsea, even though they've gone and bought at least 2 other keepers. And for Kovacic's goal, he starts off with the ball here. A poor piece of play from Chelsea at the back. The ball is cleared/played forward. It goes straight to Kovacic, who just intercepts it here. He then proceeds to burst forward past about 200 million worth of Chelsea midfielders. First, getting straight past Caicedo with a decent touch. And then the next one, getting him straight past Enzo Fernandez. Suddenly, he's up against the defence and decides, you know what? Instead of playing this to one of the forwards, I'm going to have a go myself. I feel like a lot of people are a little bit harsh against Sanchez with this goal, because in 99% of situations, a player that is shooting from here is curling it to the far post. And so you can see Sanchez moving to predict this far post save. And if he had shot, what the normal player would do, it would have been an easy save for Sanchez. But instead, a very, very clever shot from Kovacic means that instead he goes to the left-hand side of the goal and Sanchez can only tip it onto the post. So I think people are being a little bit harsh there because they didn't see him making the prediction that would have saved the vast majority of shots taken from that position. But Kovacic, a very intelligent player, maybe he saw that step across and that's why he put it near post. Really, really good goal from him though. Lovely bursting run forward. He's actually had a fantastic game today as well. If we look at the momentum map in this game, then you will see that it was a little bit topsy-turvy. Manchester City having the biggest moments though. The goal, not very high on the XG scale, as you can expect, but Chelsea did have a few opportunities where they could have created something, but poor decision-making, especially from Nicholas Jackson, mainly being offside in situations, was their biggest downfall. He did not have a good game today, not starting the season off well, but we can see that the possession was actually very, very even. Chelsea had a higher XG, and Man City only having one more shot. Both teams attempting a lot of passes in this game. I've done a whole video on why Chelsea chose Enzo Maresca and how I thought they were going to set up. I was very, very close with what my starting 11 was going to be for today, and so I'm not surprised that this is how they were going to play. They were going to try and keep possession, even though they're up against the best team in the world at doing that. And at times it looked okay, but they just need a little bit more time and practice and a bit more chemistry between the players, knowing exactly who is going to be where in certain periods of time. I can tell you from watching Maresca's ball for an entire season, at the start it looked very, very dodgy and you wondered why certain players were in certain positions. But as the season went on, it just seemed more and more natural. With higher quality players like Chelsea have, you should see that progression as long as they buy into the tactics that Enzo wants to set up for this squad. And it will work. They just need to not do the Chelsea thing of getting rid of him too early before he can actually get his project and plans and everything in place. Because we've seen it too many times with Chelsea and also at other clubs, to be fair, where they bring in a project manager but then don't allow them the time for the project. So I don't think that this is a dreadful result for Chelsea. 2-0 at home against the best team in the country is not that bad. They actually defended rather well today. And so if they can keep that side of things how it was, then they'll have a good season. And they just need to gel a little bit more going forward. Maybe don't start Nicholas Jackson if he's going to be offside in the ways that he was today and just not really fitting in the system that well. I think you need to move Nkunku more central because he wasted out on the left wing and Enzo was not having a good game as that 10 in the middle. So Nkunku in the middle, maybe start Pedro Neto on the left, and that would work a little bit better. More interplay between those two, and I think you'll create more chances and more clear-cut opportunities to score, because it's all well and good creating an opportunity for someone to shoot from 25 yards, but you can't rely on that. So you need to be getting in and around the box and getting these intricate little bits of tiki-taka, if you'd like, or triangle sets of passes. And I think that Chelsea can do that with this squad. Man City are just Man City, though. They don't even need to play at their top level, and they'll still beat you. Haaland is just Haaland. He doesn't touch the ball that much, but he scores. It's what he does. And Kovacic getting that second one was just that nail in the coffin for Chelsea today. So, unfortunate for them. Great start to the season for Man City, of course, getting off with a win away at a massive, massive team, especially with the pressure going up against Maresca and stuff like that. And now the next game is us at home to Spurs tomorrow. I will be vlogging it. I am not optimistic at all, but maybe, just maybe, in Tuesday's video, when we upload it, it will be a win. You'll have to wait and see, but thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.